Yo, welcome in everybody to week 2, day number 6 of Chicago Bears training camp. I'm your host, Nomad. Thank you guys for hopping on and joining us today. We got 3 of our co-hosts with us today, and man, I'm still loving what I'm hearing from camp so far. I'm getting more and more impressed by the day. And listen. I know everybody. All this a few reporters running around out there talking about it was a bad day for the offense, good day for the defense. The defense won. I would say there's a little context to that, even though I wasn't on the field. The reason why is being from experience, knowing what it looks like in the camp week 2. You're probably doing a bunch of installs, new plays, new material with a bunch of new players out there. So in every install and every new install, the symmetry is not going to be 100% right away. It's gonna be one of those situations where you start repping and you rep the clunkiness out of your system. So that's probably, if I had to guess, more of what the fans saw on the field today, rather than they had a bad day. Kudos to the defense, though. The defense sounded like they balled out, but that's how I would characterize what I heard overall. Just knowing what I know about camps, it sounded more to me like, it was just the symmetry of installs. And about installs, it just takes time. So, Sam, what did you think about what you heard coming from camp today?
Once again, you read my notes, dog. That's exactly what I have in my notes. I had that seems like new installs were difficult for the offense today, and they were just a little bit out of sync. That's going to happen from time to time. And, the defense catching up as well. They're tired of getting their butts kicked in practice. So, they're going to step it up a little bit more. We heard about some guys that we haven't heard about last week doing a lot better on defense this week. And that includes Tyreek Stevenson, who had him a pick in a pass breakup. And you're hearing about a UDFA, who we'll wait to talk about, who is shining out there. So, it was a good day for the Bears. I'll say that. The offense didn't totally poop the bed, but, they had some struggles, which you would expect.
Nick?
Yeah, pretty much all the same thing. I saw a little bit that Javon Dexter's turned some heads a little bit with some of the offensive centers. They're giving him some high praise. That's good to hear. I'm loving that.
Well, before we get into individual guys, because I definitely have notes on him. Definitely got some notes on Javon Dexter. But Triple R, what was your overall understanding from what you heard out of camp?
It's hey, everybody's healthy is a good day. Things are gonna look bad, air quotes to the people who can't see me, to reporters or to who fans in the stands. But it's training camp. They're working on things. It's practice. Sometimes things don't work, and so they don't look good. So they don't run that anymore. I don't expect or want, or even if we see a perfect, training camp, how does that work out? Is it perfect for offense or is it perfect for defense? Because it can't be both, obviously. If one day is good or another is bad. So just chill out, let the kids practice, let the grown men play, let them come and learn their thing, and then we'll get a better gauge when we have the practices against Indianapolis. So when they're not going against people who already know what the plays are because they're seeing them every day. And so we'll get a different reaction from different players, offense and defense. So right now, just keep everybody healthy, keep them practicing. We'll get into the specifics, but I did hear some, nice things from some young guys and some also, dearly departed, not dearly departed, but bye from the team news to some guys and welcome to others. But we'll get into the specifics. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
So to you guys in the chat that saw Nomad at night last night, you know what Trip made for dinner. So if you see flies buzzing around Trip, you all understand.
You already know what it is.
And speaking of, for those that saw the segment of MF in the Kitchen on Nomad at Night, I got to give a shout out to, I believe it was Mark, and especially Patty and Arnaldo with the frijoles. No, is it arrojas and frijoles? And then I got a pot of rice going, the arrojas, and I'm gonna put
Eros.
those. Thank you. And some of those leftovers on the top and fry up an egg, and so that's gonna be today's yeah. But yeah, all right, go ahead.
Man, okay. I hope you change underwear, and you're gonna need to again today.
Hey man, I told
He's
you
got
about
the pull-ups
this
on.
underwear. Who are you in this underwear with me?
All right. All right,
He's a
let's
big
move
kid
on
now. He
because
got the
I see
pull-ups.
where this is going right now.
Mhm.
Hey, but listen, man, we do have a little bit of breaking news. UDFA receiver Thyrick Pitts from Delaware was waived today or last night, and we picked up tight end Jared Pickney from Vandy, 6'6", 270, really good hands, really good catch radius, really good, nice tight end. And I don't know how much you guys know about him, but if you want to do some, a little extra homework, I think you'll like what you see on tape. He looked really good in the sample size that I saw.
Yeah, but he is the guy who struggled to stay on the team. He has not yet had a NFL reception yet as a tight end. So, and the other news that came out afterwards was that Chase Allen did not practice today. So I'm wondering if, it was kind of like an emergency situation where they had to pick up a body. And I mean, that's a good thing for him. He's able to come in and compete. But I wouldn't expect a lot from him, especially not early on, figuring that he's coming into a situation and having to learn an entirely new offense and all the guys around him as well. So,
All right, Nick.
Don't really got too much to add on to that. I'll let Trips go on and give his insight.
Well, as far as Pitts goes, we always, or at least I always get, excited about the possibilities of young guys with the talent and athletic ability. And when you bring them on your team, you don't want to be, necessarily a homer and like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be all pro. But you wonder about the possibilities, and to see that he's let go, it's disappointing. That goes for him and any other guy. It's not just him specifically, but with the power of polls compelling you, you got to trust in what he's seeing or not seeing in players. And if, physically he's got all the talents and the stuff, but for whatever, reason, whatever part of his game isn't translating to the pros, so be it. Good luck to him in his future endeavors. Now, our new tight end, the possibilities again. UDFA, he's working his way up in the league. Let's see what he's got. And speaking of seeing what he's got, not only specifically, but what this room has. Because now you got not only Komet, who we just paid, Tanyan, who is brought in, who knows this offense, who's been showing out through camp, and then you got a lot of battles going on for the remaining 2-3 spots. How many tight ends are we carrying? 3, 4? So now we got competition going on in that room as well. So that's never a bad thing.
Well, I'm gonna start rolling through some of these notes, and I want to send a special shout out to my man Greg Braggs. He probably won the reporter update contest today. Where he kept us pretty abreast of whatever we needed to know out there today. He was really good, and a hard second place goes to Lester Wiltfong Jr. over at Windy City Gridiron. Also really good notes today. So most of what you're going to hear from us today, on my notes anyway, are a lot of what they wrote, and I just want to make sure they get credit for that. So before I get into that, I had to say that. I can't remember which one of these guys because I was writing them so fast and I was trying to remember who was saying what. But a couple of these first notes, I don't remember who sent this information out there, but DeAnthony Jones, rookie UDFA from Houston, again, is looking hard to block out there. And what do you guys think about hearing that?
Man, that's welcome news, man. All the talk about a new defensive end being needed. We need this pass rusher, and then we keep hearing names like Terrell Lewis, and now we're hearing DeAnthony Jones, and we heard I heard that Rasheem Green had a sack today, so that's welcome news. I heard DeMarcus Walker is tearing it up. He's out there MFing everybody and effing them up in practice, which is good to hear, man. I think he's setting a tone, and the entire defensive line is following, and they're out there showing some pride, man.
Nick?
Absolutely what Sam was saying. It's good to see people stepping up to the plate. I hope we see more of it as the week progresses. More names coming up, names we already know about, seeing them taking that next step that we'd like them to see. That's really all I got there. You can go ahead, Trips.
I like to look at some of the profiles of the people making the comments if I can, like specifically on Facebook, because I still don't know how to use Twitter or X, whatever the hell it is. But you look at the profile after a comment that says, on a signing of a wide receiver or tight end or any position that's not DN, and the fan base says, "Oh, Poles is so smart. Why doesn't he sign in a DN? We got the money. Spend some money on a DN. Why do we not have a DN?" And it's like, fellas, ladies, everybody, calm down. They know what they have in their building. That's why they brought him in. If they need a DN or any other position, they'll get that. So halfway through the season, when the number one selling jersey has Jones on the back of it, isn't that his name, DeAnthony Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Has Jones on the back of it, or has Green on the back of it, or whoever is the new young guy that is gonna be a star one day. Now they're gonna go, oh, okay, well, he got lucky there by getting this guy, and I'm looking forward to that day. So hey, let's let the kids play, let them develop what they have in-house, because they see it. If it was an emergency, we would have signed somebody by now.
Listen, I saw your comment, King Booker. Hey, listen, man, some people are just hung up on wanting to report something negative if they can. I'm not going to say nobody's names, but I mean, we already know how that goes, man. They're looking for stuff to really harp on and be trying to be the evaluators, and you're just a damn reporter. There's always context to a quarterback holding on to a ball too long. You think he's just holding it because he doesn't have the sense to throw the effing ball? No, because the defense is probably covering people and he's not seeing what he needs to see, and that contributes to stuff like that. So I wouldn't pay that crap any attention, man. Don't even get me started on that, King. You came to the right place. Listen to football people talk about effing football, all right? But
let's also just not forget that, like we said, it's a new install, so it's not always on Justin. Guys have to be in the right spot at the right time, and if guys aren't in the right spot at the right time, of course he's going to hold on to the freaking ball because you're not where you're supposed to be. So now I'm running through my progressions, and I have to hit the man that becomes open when I get to them in my progression. So people don't understand that, who don't know the game. So
thank you, Flash 1689. I'm not gonna speak no names out, man, because we do have some associates over there, and we don't want to be poo-pooing people. But thank you, Flash 1689.
All right, can you say without poo-pooing anybody what that comment was? Because I'm a little lost. What did King say?
He basically said that he was watching another podcast and they're harping about Justin is holding the ball too long, but we don't need to go no further than that. I think we spoke to it already, but it's just really good to hear the defense is having a good practice out there. And DeAnthony Jones, like I said, they haven't. Another thing, we thought it was Wednesday breaking news that they were going to be putting on pass correction. That will be tomorrow.
Sick now.
Okay.
Per Cody Whitehair. And again, hey, if you guys if you guys have practice tickets and you're not going to use them, please let us know over here at the Nomad Network. Reach out to somebody and get in touch with us. Put something in the Gmail. The Gmail is nomadlivepod2023@gmail.com. Right there on the bottom, it's scrolling. So let us know, man. We would like to put at least one of our guys out there, at least at one practice before the Family Fest. So let us know. But let's keep going through the notes, man. Mooney is starting to sound looking good and getting healthier every practice. I keep hearing that they're ramping him up a little bit more. And today they kind of let him go full blast, and he looked really good. Even what's his name? Tyler Scott said that at the podium during the press conference. So he sounded like he's starting to feel healthier, man. What do you guys think? Samo?
It's good. You want to go, Trip?
All right. Keep going to keep the rotation, man. Puff, puff, pass. Puff, puff,
cool,
pass.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's welcome news, man. We want a healthy team. Like Trip said early on, that was the win. That's always going to be a win for us if we get out healthy. And to hear that he's coming into his own and looking healthier. I heard he did put it on somebody today with a nice route. I think it was might have been on our rookie, if I'm not mistaken. I got it in my notes here, but it's just welcome news, man. We need all of our weapons to be healthy, and that's how we want to leave training camp, and we want them out there practicing so that they can build that chemistry.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yes, sir. Healthy team. That's what we want. We want chemistry. Yes, sir. Sam was hitting it on the nail. I can't really top what he says sometimes, because we kind of think alike for a lot of these things. That's the one negative a little bit when we see eye to eye on things. I run out of stuff to say to follow it up. I don't want to sound too redundant.
It's all right, man. Go ahead, Trip.
Hey, sometimes our perspectives are piggyback on each other. Don't even trip, But Mooney, he's a good kid. He has been since we drafted him. He's worked his tail off, all these years since. And it's very difficult to come back for a wide receiver with that kind of an ankle injury, because that's what they do. They're running, they're cutting all the time. When they're making those blocks, they're planting. So you got to be able to rely and trust on your body and healing. And it sounds like that he has that belief and that trust that the ankle's good, that he can go out and ball out and not have that going on in his mind. And now that he's yoked up a little bit, he's going to be able to give a little what for to a DB trying to check him on the line. And, he's got the talents and the tools mentally and physically. I like his development, and, I like to hear that he's looking good.
Yes, man. I expect just based on, and I think I said this in one of the recent shows, one thing about having a surgery and having, you having to favor a particular body part, especially lower body parts and stuff like that, it's going to look like you're favoring it more than you need to, just because out of creatures of habit, man. You're used to favoring it. It's not going to look quite well when you're seeing it on tape when he's running routes. It's not going to look particularly good, but it's just a matter of mind and body, getting everything in joint, and him not worrying about it and just playing and being Darnell Mooney. And he'll run that worry off of himself. And I think Darnell Mooney's going to be fine. I think you're going to hear more and more about him as camp goes on, now that he's starting to run out there full speed and really cut on that ankle, man. I think you're just going to hear more and more good stuff about Mooney. So with that said, look, this is a note from my man Lester Wolfhome Jr. at Windy City, Second City Gridiron. He said for the second day in a row, Terrell Smith is in with the ones. Now, before you guys respond to it, I'm glad he's in getting reps with the ones, but I have to mention he got his ass cooked by Tyler Scott today. I mean, he damn near took him out of his cleats. But that was a nice move that they put out there on Twitter for anybody that got a chance to see that. It was a nice move by Tyler Scott. But I'm glad to hear he's getting reps in there with the big dogs. It's just going to be helping him get more and more sharp, getting high-level competition.
Yeah, man, that's good to hear, man. It's interesting to hear that he's getting reps with the ones, and Tyreek Stevenson getting reps with the ones. So maybe it was a kickback to light a fire under Tyreek, who had a nice day as well. I saw that little route that Tyler Scott put on him. It was a little whip route, man. Tyler Scott is too quick and too fast. He tried to get physical with him. He did get physical with him, but Tyler Scott seemed like he handled it really well. And like you say, man, he put that move on and he got that separation and he was gone. It was good to see from him.
Nick?
Don't really got much else for that either.
Well, that's all right, man. Go ahead, Trick.
See, that's why Nick does mostly production, because he's a strong silent type.
Yes, sir.
But, he was a starter with the Gophers. Yeah. And so he's used to high level competition. And, we think that it could just be getting reps with the number ones in case of injury, just seeing what they look like on tape and also seeing if he's better than somebody who's already in that position. It's competition. So we just don't pencil in Tyreek because, well, he was a high draft pick. He's automatically starting on the other side of Jalen. It's like, is Jalen going to be here? Will Terrell and Tyreek be our starting cornerbacks? Who knows on the next exciting episode of Hallis Hall.
Well,
Good point.
Tyreek is
Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson is looking good per Braggs. Bragg said, in his observation, he feels like by just observing him today, feels like he picked up a few things from these last several practices and is adding them to his game. I know he said in particular he made a nice close on DJ Moore in practice, a ball that he probably would have caught had he not closed on the ball in the right way. So it's good to see he's getting those reps and cataloging those times he got beat and putting his improvements on the field. So that's important for a DB. Matter of fact, at the utmost important is cataloging your reps, seeing what you got wrong in a particular situation. And the next time you see that guy and that route presents itself, what do you do different to close and make a play on the ball? So was happy to hear that. That was from Braggs from CHGO.
Yeah, by all accounts, he had a good bounce back day, man. Last week we saw him he took his lumps last week and he got beat up on a little bit, man. I'm sure it wasn't fun in the film room to go and see that, but you know what? He learned from it. He came back stronger. He had a day off, regather himself. I'm sure he had a day of studying and, regathering his mind, his body, and his spirit. He came out today and he played well. That's what you want to see from a rookie who's acclimating himself to the league, and I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about being a rookie and going through this mini camp, because the thing is, having a good day today, there's a good chance it might get burned again. But much like you said, back to the lab, look at the tape. What did I do wrong? Go back, fix the technique, fix the steps, maybe go inside versus outside. That's all it is to it. I like seeing rookies take their lumps even in games, just because next time something like that happens, it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're going to learn from that, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But also they can learn from the mistakes and go, okay, this route is this, let me adjust this way.
Right.
And the defense, they learn from it, as well. On the flip side of that, the offensive wide receiver learns from it if a defender stops him. But just the physics of it and the way the athletic and talents and abilities given to some of these receivers, specifically Scott, with that quickness, not many DBs are going to be able to stay with him because they're not as fast and as quick as he is. And even if they are, themselves, they don't know the route. So Scott's going to have that advantage. So he's going to, hopefully, the way he's projected, break a lot of ankles, quote unquote. Everybody stay healthy, on DBs, all season long, because he has that ability, as a Hightower, Coach Hightower from Special Teams was talking about.
Let me, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna share a little bit of defensive back knowledge with our viewers, man, in regards to what everybody's just talking about. One thing, if you were to get a close observation, I would guarantee if I was looking at them on up close and personal, you especially when you're new to a system, a DB will take a lot of wasted steps to be on the corrective side of making sure you don't get something wrong. So you might get a little bit too deep on the play and it wouldn't allow you to make the proper break in time on the ball. So you get a completion in front of you when you probably didn't need to get out so high. And it's like wasted motion, wasted steps. But as you get more and more experience and you start understanding what they're doing to you, like Kyler Gordon did last year, you start to close that separation, close that distance, and not be so unsure of yourself because you kind of understand what's going on at the same time. So it's probably a lot of wasted motion and a lot of wasted steps by both of those rookies, those rookie DBs. But I just had to throw that out there. I keep hearing this every single day, and this one comes from Sean Hammonds at the what's that? I think it's the Shaw Local. I think he's over there with Hub Arkish, and he said again, Robert Tonyan is looking really good out there, man. I keep hearing that day in and day out, man. So it's not a fluke.
Yeah, they saying Tonyan and Kmet is looking good, man. And I got to come back to last week too, when you gave my boy Cole Kmet say he wouldn't have made that play if it was physical, if they were in pads. Cole Kmet absolutely would have made that play, man. He put a nice move. He had a nice release off the line of scrimmage on Briscoe, who tried to bump him. You know, he went the other way. Briscoe recovered nicely, but when the ball got there and Briscoe went to look for it, Cole just snatched it out the air, man. Dropped it. It dropped right in the basket for him. That was just a good play by Cole Kmet, man. We got to show him some respect for that one. That was I didn't even know he had that in him, dog. To say, but man, Robert Tonyan, what
crazy as hell, man. Jaquan gonna take that cat to the ball and be ripping at that ball. He's got to keep it throughout the tackle.
No, man, you gotta stop sleeping on Cole, man. Cole is physical. Cole is physical, man. Hey, but it's good to hear though, man. Great. Yeah, Tonyan is gonna be a threat to any defense that we play, man. He is a weapon for us. They've been spreading him out wide, man. I think in the red zone, you know, he's a big target. We know what he did for Aaron Rodgers up in Green Bay. You know, the guy knows this offense already. He's a savvy player. So I expect him to have a lot of success in this offense.
Nick?
I think the two tight end sets that this offense is going to be running is going to be some very good football. Probably the best football that we'll be seeing the Bears doing. And I expect them to really be a big factor in the red zone, especially Robert Tonyan. It's going to be really interesting to see who like the primary score person will be as far as the tight ends go. I mean, Kmet's such a big physical guy. Like, he's massive. And he's just he's growing as a man, he's just growing as a player. I really expect, like, I'm not going to sit here and say a breakout season, but something where he's going to get everyone's attention. Like, oh, this guy's like for real. Like, this is a dude. Like, he'll finally get the flowers he's been looking for a while.
You know, first of all, shout out to Hub. Shout out to Kyle. What up, Sean? But yeah, Tonyan, he has also been lining up, you know, motioning out to wide receiver. So when we run these tight end sets, 3 tight end sets, possibly even, you know, so who knows the possibilities that Getsy has that he's put together in his lab. Tonyan and Getsy have that relationship. So, you know, they know how to work with each other. They know what's going on. We got a crowded room. Maybe we see, you know, more packages with 2 and 3 tight end sets. So, hey, the more the merrier, as long as everybody's looking good, sounding good, it's good to me.
Actually, Robert Tonyan was one of the, and I said this when we got him, I thought he was one of the sleeper pickups of the free agency period, not just our team. I think he was a steal for the most part. I know he was a steal. He's always a really good route runner. He's a converted receiver. He's just hard to deal with for a safety or a linebacker. He's really hard to deal with, and even for corners, he's just so big. But yeah, I'm one of these other guys. I expect you're going to keep hearing good stuff about him throughout camp. I think he's going to have a great season. In fact, I thought that might have been the hindrance of Cole Kmet getting a contract, but they got that done. So obviously, you know, kudos to Cole Kmet for that, man. But yeah, I expect to hear a lot of great things throughout the rest of the camp for him and the rest of the season. So one thing I wanted to point out, I don't know how many people got a chance to watch the presser today. Man, I'm telling you right now, Tyler Scott is going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for the rest of the league. Not just, I mean, That kid is so cerebral. You add cerebral to pure athletic ability and pure just rocket speed, man, you're gonna have a problem, man. I'm just telling you from a DB's perspective. Listen to that guy answer questions and give details about what he can do to get better and how he could, how he mirrors everything he does to the next thing that he just did, so it all looks the same. And so you can't really know what to expect from him coming off the line of scrimmage. Telling you he's going to be a problem. That kid is so cerebral. You match that with athleticism, you got a problem.
Yeah, man, and it's showing on the practice field right now. He is a quick study. I heard some stuff about him not making the same mistake twice. There's a guy that understands the game, and he has a lot of talent out there on the field, man. Once everything starts clicking for him, once he gets a great grasp with his offense, man, defenses better look out. I think Poles found the steal in this dude. Looking forward to seeing what he does in the preseason. I think we might have us a real good wide receiver group, guys, this season. And we already know that we have the speed, but these guys are sounding like they're ready to take off.
Nick?
I really like how Poles is building this team as far as the depth goes. It's really refreshing compared to like a lot of the teams we've had beforehand, because when it came to preseason, like once like certain players got out, you just knew it wasn't really worth sticking around for, because you knew like some of the guys that we had were just, you knew that they were backups for a reason, versus now all these guys are capable of potentially being a starter. So everyone's out here fighting for a spot. So when you're watching these preseason games, you're seeing these guys out here competing. That's why the Bears were undefeated in preseason. I expect that to happen again, to be honest, because you have the competition at all this depth, because you have all these guys who are passionate about the game, and it's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Once again, power of Poles compels you.
Yes,
He's
sir.
created that competition. He's created that depth in a lot of these different rooms. And one of the knocks, quote unquote, against Scott was his limited route tree knowledge. But that's not his fault. That was the playbook that they ran there in Cincinnati with was it Bearcats? So he did what he was asked to do. But his intellect and his cerebral ability, like Nomad was talking about, he will learn the other routes as he progresses. And he's also learning special teams. So, punt returning, so he's putting more and more on his plate. And as he's able to consume and digest it, food references, he's going to get more and more. And with those physical gifts and abilities, problems galore for opposing defenses. And that's something that he's just one guy we're talking about, possibly the fourth wide receiver with these gifts and abilities. And that's the excitement and the optimism of this year's team. Let's keep it rolling.
Hey, I got this just to take a little turn for you guys. Do you guys remember this is one of the players we profiled, during, the down season, that we were guys on the roster that we thought you should pay close attention to when they get out there on the field. I heard this is from Braggs. I'll just tell you exactly what he said. Donovan Jeter with the first team defense gets into the backfield immediately, but the way he got into the backfield was absolutely annihilated. He didn't say in specifics exactly who it was, but he just manhandled, mauled him, threw him out of the way, and got right into the backfield. This is Donovan Jeter getting first team reps. Remember, this guy is 6'3", 6'4", 325 pounds, out of Michigan. Just was in Pittsburgh, in my opinion, playing the wrong type of defense for his skill set. I'm so fortunate that he's here with the Bears right now, and him getting a chance to play really what his natural position is a one gap guy, get up the field, tear who you have to tear up, and get in the backfield. And so that's gonna suit him well and serve him well. So expect to hear a bunch of different things about him throughout camp. And shout out to Braggs for that note.
Yes, that is one of the guys we did profile. earlier on in the off season. If you haven't seen that video, go back and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes,
Donovan Jeter, man, that dude is about to try to make a name for himself, and we keep saying it, but it's competition, man. Competition is bringing out the best in some of these guys, and the fact that these guys are now entering different defenses than they've had in the past. They may have been in the league before and not had the success, but they could have just been playing out of position or something that just didn't fit them. Now, I think Poles has done an excellent job of identifying guys, but not just identifying talent, but guys that fit our system. And those guys are starting to shine for us, and we're starting to see that. That's why you're hearing guys who haven't made a name for themselves in the league, but have been here for a while, are starting to make plays in practice. Hopefully it translates over into the preseason games, and, maybe these guys do make the team.
Yes, sir. You never know. The power of polls does compel us, Cornelius. It really, really does. You can go ahead, Trips.
Yes, it does. And I've heard that places around the internet, around I've just heard the power of polls compels us. I'm just saying. But and like Samo was going to expand on that a little bit on Nomad Live, or possibly a Nomad at Night. I'm not sure which the clip was, but you can find it on the Nomad Network there on YouTube and all of our platforms, social media wise, that is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And as Samo said, go back and do some homework and review on the tape that we did on this kid. And he was a Michigan standout. And that's a big time program, but he hasn't had the opportunity really to get his moment to put it all together until now. And those are the kind of players that this front office, covets. So given the opportunity that this is a wide open, depth chart, to say, hey, we got a room full of talented guys, some vets, some young kids, who wants it? Now Jeter gets to say, hey, I'm somewhat of a veteran, even though I haven't played. I know how to put this together. I'm going to go out here and get my name on the back of some best-selling jerseys.
Hey, Leo Factor is giving us some sound advice here, man. Sam, if you don't mind putting that back up, make sure you guys go. This is Leo Factor 1 saying, make sure you guys go live right after preseason and regular games. That's how you grow the channel real fast. A lot of viewers post Bears games looking for something to watch. And you know something, we've spoken about that, and we certainly plan on doing that, Leo. That is sound advice right there, brother, and I appreciate you. We definitely plan on doing that. We're gonna be a presence before and after games, hopefully.
You already know it.
I don't know exactly what's the duration of pregame versus postgame. I'm pretty sure postgame will go a little bit longer than pregame, but we'll see. We don't know exactly how we're going to format it and what it's going to look like, but best believe we're going to be a presence for you guys. We know how much you guys love it, and we're going to be a presence.
Mike.
No doubt.
I ain't going to repeat that, man, but listen, man, one other thing, man, about the D-line, man, people are singing Javon Dexter's praise right now. I mean, Javon Dexter his teammates are singing his praise, and Braggs is saying good things about what he looked like chasing Justin Fields around. He said he was really getting off that ball and getting behind the line of scrimmage well today. So you guys want to speak on that, go right ahead.
What was that? I missed the beginning of that. My bad, dog.
Braggs, he said that everybody's singing the praises of Javon Dexter today, even his teammates.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, Braggs said was noticing how well and how fast he was off the ball and penetrating into the backfield today.
Yeah, I did hear that. I heard a lot about him too, having some success playing with the second team. Him and our other rookie right next to each other. In the second team, they were both, coming off the ball firing. And that's what we want to hear from them. I think once the pass go on, I'm not too concerned about, what's going on right now. And I don't read too much into anything with the trenches until the pass come on, man, because that's when the offensive line can get physical. We can see where guys really have, if that speed that they have coming off the ball is going to actually work once it has to meet that force and that power from the offensive line. But it is good to hear that in shorts, he's making the moves and he's getting in the backfield as he should. And I think all of the defensive linemen, like I said, the defensive tackle rotation, man, I heard so much about all of them. Justin Jones, I'm hearing is having a great camp. I'm hearing that Javon Dexter's having a great camp. DeMarcus Walker's having a great camp. Like the defensive line, I think has a leader now, and I think that leader is DeMarcus Walker, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. So all this talk we've been hearing about, we don't have a pass rush, we don't have this, we don't have that. When the pass come on, it's going to show. We'll know what we have.
Absolutely. That's straight facts. I can't wait for these pads to come on because I really do want to see what we got going on as far as this interior defensive line goes. It's clear to see that's how they want to build this defensive line through the inside out, and then that's where they want to generate the most pressure is through that inside. So I definitely want to see these rookies get at it. I want to see what's his name, Zach Pickens' name pop up a little bit more now, especially once those pads come on. I want to see Dominique Robinson's name pop up a little bit more. Travis Gibson, Marcus Walker, Terrell Lewis. I want to see them all pop up. Or not Terrell Lewis.
Terrell,
oh, it is Terrell Lewis, right? The Alabama dude, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the pads haven't come on yet, and it's not about him, but Travis Gibson, I ain't heard his name come up. But anyway.
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
We didn't. We were supposed to talk about that last night, but we didn't really.
Okay. But we'll save that for a whole topic right there. But as far as big Javon Dexter, if he's making this kind of flash without pads being on, that's very impressive because he's a man-child out there. And it's going to take a couple guys to contain him. And I don't want to hear how bad our offensive line looks if he's getting in the backfield or if any of these aforementioned defensive linemen are really getting pressure on, our practice quarterbacks. Because guess what? Maybe they're that good. And we need to let the kids get the pads on, let them start popping. And then, as they say, that separates the men from the boys.
Hey, man, listen, man. That sounds like Justin Jones, Javon Dexter, Donovan Jeter, and more particularly DeMarcus Walker were tearing it up today. Just all day, constantly getting in the backfield, getting pressures. And so I said this a long time ago when we got this cat, and I keep saying it and keep saying and keep saying it. DeMarcus Walker was a steal.
Yep.
Don't know exactly where he's going to line up day one, what position. It could be inside, it could be outside. But I'm not sold that on. I don't really know what the starting off defensive line is going to look like. It's going to be real interesting for me to keep a track on that moving forward. Who's getting reps where and how many. I mean, when preseason comes around, we're going to get a good, solid idea of. And I think sometime this week, maybe early next week in pads, they'll have maybe 3 days in pads. Maybe if there's going to be a move for another defensive end, it's probably going to be in that time period. So about 3-4 days, or at least 1 week into the pad reps, I think we'll know what we have. I think the coaches will anyway. So if you're going to see something, I think it'll be in that time frame.
Yeah, I don't think they're in any rush, man. Like you said, we don't know what rotation the guys are going to be in, what guys are going to be starting. We do know we're going to have a rotation, and it's a battle right now. It's going to be a fight throughout training camp, throughout the preseason. Guys are going to be fighting for position. I heard something today. I have in my notes that rookie D lineman Zach Pickens, he looked mean today in one-on-ones. He was tossing guys around too. And that him and Javon Dexter were running with the twos. We heard of Pickens running with the threes last week, so now he's bumped up. So maybe he's done something to deserve that. Coaches don't move you up unless you actually doing what you're supposed to do. Whatever had him in the doghouse at 3 and running with the threes, he's gotten elevated himself up out of there. So we'll see what happens when these pads come on tomorrow, man. This is about to get exciting, guys.
Absolutely getting excited. I can't wait.
And the thing about the positional flexibility that all these defensive line guys have, we want to, by history, say, all right, left defensive end, left tackle, defensive tackle, right defensive end. That's what it is. But that's not what it is, because all these guys can, switch inside and outside. And if they have a matchup, favorable against an offensive lineman that they know that they can eat against, they can flip around and abuse that, that weakness, that flaw in the opposing offensive line. So, this is just another tool in the box, for Coach Williams, the defense to use.
All right, man. Let's get the last couple of notes. I've got more, but we think we're on a hard deadline because Sam has to get to work, man. So we got to get this wrapped up. Man, Samo got to make sure we don't get him fired, man. So
we got babies to feed.
Kids, man. Hey, listen, a couple things. This is Bragg. This is why Braggs won today, man. He noted that in particular what looked good between Justin and the rest of those guys was how quick and how crisp he was getting that ball out and how he was getting it out. He was spreading it around everybody. Everybody was getting their hands on that ball in the quick game. He thought that looked really good today. And also, he said Noah Sewell, Jack Sanborn, and DeMarquise Gates were getting a lot of cross-training reps. Like I think Sewell might have been playing some will. Jack Sanborn might have been playing middle, Gates in different spots. And so they're cross-training all of our linebackers to be ready to step in at any spot. So I thought that was noteworthy. Also one of Braggs' notes.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. I said that is Gates a part of the Sam linebacker competition? Is it a 3-man competition? Has he looked that good to be a part of that competition? Because I would think that if it were a competition just between Sewell and Sanborn, then one of those two guys would have been playing that Sam linebacker position. So it just makes me feel like, Gates is also going to be included in that competition. I fully expect Sanborn to win it, especially early on in the season, but it's good to have depth, and it's good to have depth at all of these positions. So all of these guys are rotating, and to see which guy will be the first linebacker up in the event that, a guy goes down for a few plays or, God forbid, a game or two. But it was good to hear.
Yeah, that is very good to hear. It'll be interesting, like Samo said, to see the competition and how the depth chart lines up for Sam linebacker. It's even interesting to see how it's going to be for middle linebacker and for left outside backer too.
The depth in this room and the youth has us looking, hey, the linebacker room for a few years to come, we looking very nice. And then the physical players that we have, and now the linebacker room, the second line back on the defense, more versatility, in case of injury, in case they want to run out some 3-4. These guys know where to go, know where to be, and the intelligence to be able to handle, all those responsibility is another, notch in Pose's belt on the intelligence and the quality of players that he's bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, guys. And Mike Withrow just asked Nomad, I'd like to hear what you'd expect from a 3-4 look for changing up the defense to confuse the offense in the future. So I like your X's and O's teaching. You know what? I would like to actually do that myself, Mike. It's about time for us, man, having time to get this stuff done, man. It's a different thing being running your own network and getting everybody's trying to play a role. Everybody's trying to see how we fit in with each other. It's a lot going on behind the scenes, but I'm going to definitely take in consideration what you just said. And I appreciate you for appreciating me, Mike. Thank you so much, brother. But I wish we can go on a little bit longer, man, because our guys got stuff to do, man. And
hold on, Nomad. Hold on. We're not going to get out of here without talking about one player today.
All right.
The guy who probably stole the day, man. We got to get this dude his flowers. And Mike, I do like that idea. Maybe the Bears do explore some eye front nickel this year, especially with having Sewell, a guy who can be that third linebacker in an eye front nickel set who can rush from the linebacker position. So that's something that we haven't heard, but it could be happening behind the screens.
No doubt.
But the guy, come on, man. No, man, this is another guy we covered, a UDFA we covered. In safety, Braylon Trahan, Louisiana Lafayette, Raging Cajun, 6 foot,
he won
200 pounds, 13 in his career interceptions in college, 2 forced fumbles in 6 seasons. He had 6 seasons there. We'll give him that, but he had 4 last year. The dude balled out today. You want to talk about it, Nomad?
Yeah, I mean, we did a segment. I mean, a little portion of a show all about those guys, man, making sure you guys were aware of who these UDFAs were, and so that was the whole purpose for doing that show. Was because basically somebody on Twitter said, and he runs a podcast too. Shout out to that guy. I don't remember the title of the podcast. He was like, "Well, who in the hell knew who this player was?" Talking about Braylon Trahan with 2 picks. I was like, this network did. We did like a whole show on them. So that's why we do that stuff in the off season to make sure you guys are aware. But Braylon Trahan's absolute ball hawk. Good instincts, a little bit small for safety, in my opinion. But I think I don't know if he makes the team, but if he keeps coming up with 2 pick days, he's gonna make the team. So you keep hearing about Braylon Trahan in practice. You keep hearing about guys like Stroman in practice. It's just making it hard for other guys, man, and making other guys push a little bit harder. These are guys that are low on the depth chart, really low on the depth chart, making plays like that and having days like that. All that does is bode well for the team, the defense overall, and it's just pushing guys. That competition level is just getting ferocious, and that's what those are the kind of earmarks that championship teams are made of, when the lowest guys on the depth chart are actually pushing the guys on the upper tier. That's the kind of SHIT you want to hear, guys. Every day you hear stuff like that, that is a good day. So
absolutely, man. The dude, for everybody who didn't hear, he's emerging as a backup safety in training camp. We talked about the safety depth not being strong, but we said that, the cream will rise to the top. We have competition there, and competition will bring out the best in someone. And it seems like, he had a day. He had 2 interceptions today. The first off of PJ Walker and 11 on 11s. Then he had another off of Justin Fields, he was a deep pass to Tyler Scott in a 2-minute drill. So, good to hear, that someone is stepping up and making plays, and you never know what we have in this dude.
All right, fellas. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Wait, isn't it?
What's that?
No, you can go ahead, Nomad.
Well, I don't get a comment.
Well, we're going.
You got something to say, Chips?
Real quick.
Wait. I'm about to feed it to you guys. Everybody's gonna get to wrap it up with their last comment. I got you, man. Just be cool. Sam, you got anything you want to close with?
Nah, man. Just tomorrow's the day, guys. Pads are coming on, and this is the good time about training camp. This is what I love to hear about the trenches. See how the offensive line is turning out. Hearing about Darnell Wright, all the new additions that we have on the offensive line, and see who's getting better. And, it's going to be good to see what our defensive line looks like. So stay tuned tomorrow.
Nick, you want to close it up with something?
Yeah, sure. Make sure y'all stay in tune by hitting that little bell button that lets you know when each video drops. That way, once the video goes live, y'all know exactly when to come in and hear more of this great Chicago Bears content from Nomad and the rest of us in the Nomad crew. And then make sure you also hit the like button. We're also on Facebook, soon to be streaming on other platforms. Stay tuned for that. We got other content coming here on this channel. You just got to stay a little patient with us. We're working on it, but it's coming. And that's all I got. Also, follow me on Twitter. It's right there, @ArtByNike. Follow everyone else on their Twitter handles as well. Chips, go ahead.
Just to close out with Trahan, there's an expression in baseball, the stick plays. So if he's making interceptions and being a ball magnet like that, with this hits principle, with all the tips we're going to be getting the balls out there with this huge linebacking core, if he's out there and is able to, make some tackles, he's pushing, for that safety position, on the roster. And who knows how that's going to pan out, looking at you, Bojack. I'm just saying.
All right. You guys, man, I appreciated you guys today, man. My co-hosts were great. The chat is booming and busting like all the time, man. We love you guys and all this great interaction, man, and engagement. Fills me up when I see you guys in the comment section after shows, man. Keep that stuff coming. We love you guys for it, man. So, hey, just appreciate you guys so much, man. But with that being said, we got to get out of here so Sam can get back to work. We will be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. Hey, listen, love and appreciate you guys one more time. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Salute.